Jamie Winsor, scene number 8.
Camera and action.
Hello, Jamie.
How's it going, Janusz?
You're after a really long trip to Poland.
It was quite a long one. Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, because some complications.
Yeah, every plane I go near basically breaks. That's the problem.
So your lecture was moved from the first day to the second, and it will be in the end. And I will ask you a bit about this lecture later. Now, the first thing I want to ask you is, how do you like our conference?
Oh, so far this is great. This is in a movie theater. Unfortunately no one can see, but this is like you retrofitted a movie theater for a conference, and that's pretty cool. And unfortunately, I showed up pretty late yesterday because of the flight delays. But the conference put on a great party last night, and I get to meet a lot of really nice people. And I'm really excited just to get on stage and give my talk, and hopefully people like it.
Mm-hmm. Let's get some background on you.
Yeah, sure.
You are a developer who was working with games.
Yeah. So ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to make video games, and I was very fortunate that about 7 years ago I got to get into the game industry, and I've worked on some larger online games like Lord of the Rings Online, Dungeons and Dragons, Guild Wars 2, League of Legends, TERA, and I've always loved games, and I make them today, and it's really my passion. So yeah.
Yeah, but you weren't making those games like the most people think, because you didn't make a game like a game. You were working with servers.
Yeah. So these games are different than like a Nintendo game, right? These games are online, and they're persistent, and they're always available. And if the servers are down, then you can't play the game, right?
Yeah.
So it introduces some interesting challenges, and you're not just writing the game loop anymore. Now you're writing deployment tools. Now you're writing scalability tools. Like, how can we make this game stay online, and how can we deploy without taking it off? How can we make sure that players can connect at all times of the day? And it's definitely a little more challenging than just an old Nintendo game, right?
And that's where Chef comes in.
That's right.
Tell me more about the Chef.
Yeah, so basically we use Chef to deploy on all those games, and also, Chef wasn't around for a couple of them, but later on when Chef was around, because early we used like shell scripts like everybody else, right? But when Chef was introduced in 2009, it really started to change some things for us. We had the ability to automate our deployments, test our deployments. They were repeatable and reliable. And basically we use Chef to configure nodes and deploy new things out. We use Knife and Amazon, AWS to create new cloud instances and horizontally scale on demand. And Chef is an integral part of that.
Mm-hmm. And now we are working on a new project, and you will tell us about it in your lecture, as far as I know.
I'll tell you a little bit about the technology that went into building it. I can't talk about the game that I'm currently working on, but I'm really excited about it. And right now I'm working at Undead Labs, and they just put out in 2013 State of Decay. And I'm working on some new stuff there, some online stuff. That was a single player game. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about the technology that we've used and the workflow that we use to make that game.
Can you make some brief into this technology now?
Yeah, sure. So basically, it's about the deployment workflow and the release process. So how do we create something that you can reliably deploy and promote throughout logical environments with basically the push of a button? And that's the talk.
Yeah. And without any breaks, because
no
as far as I know, in most of games today, we have this problem of maintenance.
Yeah, well, maintenance windows suck. They totally suck. And on a game, it really blows because you're just trying to go home and have some fun, and
I've been
game's
there.
down every time you want to go play. Unfortunately, that's games are big and they're really hard to get going. Using Chef, and if you write your software in a way that you keep deployment in mind from day one, it's not like this second-class citizen. You just keep it in mind the whole time, and when you do that, the deployments are much easier. It doesn't feel like you're wrestling the deployment the whole time. You're just pressing the button and then the new content hits the servers.
It's really something new.
A couple games have done it so far. I wish that I could take credit for it, but yeah, it's not a novel idea, but it is not the most popular idea. I think that it will become more popular as it becomes easier, and tools like Chef are making it easier.
You are not an engineer. You have finished studies in arts, as far as I know.
Oh, I'm an engineer, but I did go to school for art.
Yeah, you are going to the school for art, but now you are an engineer.
Yeah, I made a mistake and I went to school for art, and at the end of it, I was like, this is not for me. No, I have a much better memory than I have the ability to figure out what color I should use. So, yeah.
So, what is it like to be a DevOps, in fact?
Well, the thing about DevOps is it's a culture, right? It's not a position that you can hold, and it's not a something you hire for. It's a culture, and it's tough to bring it to an organization that's already established, like an organization which already is successful. They might not want to change. They want something better, but it's really hard for them to see like, oh, what we're doing right now, although good, could be better, and because of that. It's tough to bring that to new organizations. I've been super lucky that the company that I'm at right now just adopted it before I even showed up. I was able to write some open source stuff with a team, and we have a core team that made Berkshelf and a couple other tools. Yeah. And the organization I'm at now, called Undead Labs, adopted that before I even showed up. So I'm very fortunate that I work with a great team of guys that really believe in that culture, and they implemented it before I even came. So.
You are from the USA, so tell me, how does the community of DevOps look out there?
Well, I've been using Chef since 2009, so it's about 5 years now, and I've been able to see it grow. I've been to every Chef Conf and every summit, and it started with basically two groups of people: software engineers and then operations people. And that has been getting closer and closer to the same thing, and that's exactly what we want. That's the meaning of DevOps, right? And this last Chef Conf, which happened in April, we had quite a bit of like interest from enterprises, companies that actually have money, and guys with suits just start showing up to the conference, and I think that's when you realize that you're onto something big, when the people with money are paying attention to you now.
So let's hope it will be even bigger in the future. And get better. Okay, so my guest was Jamie Winsor, our keynote. Thank you very much.
No problem, man.